need 2 master skills. Please jot them down. These 2 skills are what will give you that life. The first skill is the science of achievement. The science of achievement is that whatever you want to achieve, there are rules, and if you follow the rules, you can win the game. So for example, if we talk about our bodies, it's a science to be vitally healthy, to be strong, meaning there are rules. Everyone here is biochemically unique, but are there some universal rules that if you violate them, you're gonna have low energy or disease in your body? Yes or no? You bet you will. Are there a set of rules that if you align by them, you're gonna have an abundance of energy and a vital level of health? Yes or no? So I don't care what you believe. If you jump off a cliff, you are going to drop. I don't care what you believe. If you violate the science of your health, you're gonna have problems. The same thing is true financially. I spent 4 years, now it's been 6, interviewing some of the most brilliant financial minds literally in the world. Warren Buffett, Carl Icahn, Ray Dalio. And by the way, one of them I just mentioned, you probably didn't know the name of. How many of you know who Ray Dalio is? Look at this room, 7,000 people, only a couple dozen. The richest people in the world all know who Ray Dalio is. Ray Dalio, you can throw it on the screen, has produced more returns for investors than anyone alive, including Warren Buffett. Everyone talks about Warren Buffett, but Ray Dalio is the guy. Ray's interesting, amazing man. This guy, when I interviewed him, he is a man who is the largest hedge fund in the world. Rich people give their money to hedge funds. And when they give it to hedge funds, a big hedge fund might be like 15 billion, raise $165 billion. 10 times bigger than anybody else. When I interviewed him that day, the Prime Minister of China, the head of China, interrupted our call for coaching about what to do with the currency. This is the level. This is a man, to give you an idea, who's produced a 23% compounded return for 21 consecutive years. Think about what all the ups and downs, the bear markets, bull markets, all that stuff, total genius. You don't know him because you probably couldn't get access to him, to give you an idea. But I got access. It's been a fan of mine, it turned out, for 20 years, which is really helpful. And I went in for a 45-minute interview, and as my nature, I go deep, and 4 hours later, 3.5 hours, I left. And one of the most important questions I asked him was this, because I wanted to write this book, and I wanted to give people, anyone, somebody's a billionaire, somebody just starting the journey, somebody's a baby boomer, thinks they can never get free, or somebody like just got out of college, millennial going, how do I ever get out of debt? I want to be able to help all those people. And by the way, I donated all the profits of that book, $5 million, in advance before it even came out, so we could feed 100 million people. That was not 100 million, I had to write some more checks, but it got me started, right? So I asked him, I said, what if you couldn't give any of your money to your children, and you could only give them a set of principles, a distinctions, a scientific plan, a strategy that would cause them to be financially free, what would it be? He said, Tony, and I asked this to every one of these 50 multi-billionaire investors. They all had great answers. His was the best. He said, Tony, I have spent 15 years of my life obsessed with that question. He said, because not only do I want to take care of my kids, but I also have all these charities that when I die, I want those people to continue to be helped. And he said, I have an organization of 1,500 people who work around the clock to come up with the best ideas, and they all compete with each other. It's a very, very tough place, this place called Bridgewater, where he runs this operation. It's very unique. And it's dog-eat-dog competition to come up with the best stuff. And he goes, I know I won't be here for that. And he said, I also know that markets are always changing. And he said, I noticed something. Everybody tells you what to do financially, and they say diversify, and they tell you to put this much in bonds and this much in stocks, and that's supposed to protect you. And he said, no one talks about the dirty little secret, which is when the markets drop, like 2008, 2000, it all goes down. But no one says anything about it because eventually it comes back, and then the same people who sold you other things go, well, that's just the market, we don't know what to do, and they do the same thing again, and it happens again. His has been the most successful. And so I asked him to explain it to me, and he did in detail. Now, I did 18 hours of prep for this one interview with him, and he said on the air multiple times that there's no one that's interviewed him and more prepared for an interview than I. He and I pitched and catch, and because of that, I got to this final level where he explained it to me, and I said, you know what? You just told me the most important set of principles to financial freedom that anyone has ever shared that I'm aware of in the world. He goes, well, that's true. He didn't disagree with me on it. And I said, but there's only one problem. You said, here's how you bake a cake. Use some sugar, use some chocolate, use some dairy products. I said, but you didn't tell me the amounts. He goes, Tony, I can't give you that. That's my secret sauce. He goes, you have to have a $5 billion net worth, and you have to give me 100 million minimum to start, or I don't even talk to you, and I haven't taken money for 10 years. I said, that's my point. You're not gonna give anybody this anymore. You've closed your fund, you're running it for the people you're running it for, and you just done told me that if someone goes to the average advisor, they're good people, but this is a poker game where only the best in the world win at the financial level. Unless your financial advisor is won a bunch of gold medals, he told me, you're screwed. Because it's only a matter of time until there's a real problem. I said, you're the ultimate gold medalist in the whole world, and you know the answer. And I said, you're a totally generous man. You're gonna give away half your net worth. I said, why don't you help people right now? Give me the formula. And I got him laughing. Once I got him laughing, I knew I had it. And he goes, well, I couldn't do it because I use leverage. I said, design one without leverage for the average person. He goes, well, you know, it wouldn't be perfect. I said, your idea of not perfect, they call him the Da Vinci of investing. Some call him the Steve Jobs of investing. I said, your idea of not perfect will be better than anybody on earth. I said, well, and then he said, let me think. And I felt this tingle down the back of my spine because I wasn't writing this book to make money. I was making this book so I could help people around the world. I watched people in 2008 lose their homes en masse, lose half of what they had, and that wasn't a statistic. That's how I grew up. So I wanted the answer. And he starts laying this, he goes, well, let's do this. And he gives me this exact formula, which he's never revealed ever in his entire history. I was shaking inside. The second master lesson to an extraordinary life is the art of fulfillment. The art, jot it down, of fulfillment. What do I mean by the art of fulfillment? Success is a science. What do I do to succeed in business? There's a science, there's a set of rules. But what fulfills us is totally different. Every one of us needs something different to have that sense of fulfillment. But I can tell you two things that we all need to be fulfilled as principles, not as rules. Number one, we must grow. If you don't grow, it doesn't matter how much money you have, it doesn't matter how many Academy Awards you have, it doesn't matter how many people respect you, it doesn't matter if you have 4 perfect children, it doesn't matter if you have so much love, you're not gonna feel it. How many follow what I'm talking about here? Say I. So if we don't grow, we what? You grow or you die. If you don't grow your business, it's dying. If your relationship's not growing, it's dying. There's no plateau. It's not achievement that's gonna do it for you. So the best time to wake up will be now. And so this experience is what my life's work is to get people to experience the joy while you're here. And if you'd asked me a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, was I living that? I'd say, of course I am. And I would have believed it 100% I was. I've had the most amazing life. I have a woman as my wife who I would die for, been together 17 years. I'm not blowing smoke. This woman is the greatest thing to ever happen to my wife. And it gives me, if I had nothing else in my life, I have 4 amazing children. I have 3 grandchildren. I've got 31 companies. I got 1,000 employees. I'm in all these industries. I get to do what I want, when I want, at the level I want. I have financial freedom, all those things. And I come from nothing, so I'm proud I did achieve. But more importantly, because it's been meaningful the way I've done, I felt fulfilled. That's why I'm here. I don't need to be here. The pattern of what makes you most alive is things that give you these emotions you want most. Beautiful states like love or joy or gratitude or excitement or hunger or drive or creativity. See, you don't just have happiness. If it's only one state you're going after, your brain needs variety. Ever been so happy you smiled so much your face hurt? Who knows what I'm talking about here? So we need lots of beautiful states. But here's what I can tell you. When you're in a beautiful state, everything goes. Now, what's a suffering state? I don't think anyone in this room, I could be wrong. I sure know if you would ask me a year and a half ago, do I suffer? I would have laughed. Suffer? Are you kidding? You see my wife, see my life, see what I got to do, see who my friends are. I had the most magnificent life, and I wasn't being phony. I was being totally authentic. It's just like achievers aren't fearful, they get stressed. No achiever suffers, but they do. Because it's not consistent, that word's not consistent with our identity, is it? But what if suffering was any state that takes you out of your heart and soul and makes you feel fulfilled, like frustration, anger, overwhelm, stress, worry, concern. And by the way, I would get pissed off and frustrated, but I would say to myself, that's not suffering, that's part of life. That's what I believe, and whatever you believe, you'll live. And I then began to realize, no, it's not. Suffering states are the result of the brain. We have a 2 million-year-old brain in our bodies, and it's designed not to make you happy. It's designed to make you survive. And that's what almost everybody does. They survive. Happiness is your job. And I've just come by to remind you how you can do it and have it be sustained if you want to know. Who's interested?